Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview East Carolina's head baseball coach, Clif Godwin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you got your start in baseball?
Well, I really just started out playing all sports, and that's one thing I think that had allowed me to have success in college as a baseball player. My dad was a high school basketball coach at Green Central High School for 30 years, so as soon as I could walk, I was in a basketball gym at Green Central, trying to dribble a basketball. I also played football and I played baseball, so I was just extremely involved in all sports. And then when I got into high school, I kept playing those three sports. And my high school baseball coach, James Rabbit Fulgham, who is in the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame, and my family and people that were close just said, hey, look, you have a better chance to be a great player in baseball. Even though at the time, my senior year, I was a better basketball and football player in high school than I was a baseball player, in my opinion. But everybody said, hey, if you can just focus on baseball year round, you're going to become a better baseball player.
How did you know that you wanted to get into coaching?
I don't have like the moment. I can't go back and tell you the moment. Like I said, I grew up around athletics. I really enjoyed competing in sports. Enjoyed all sports. Probably too competitive at times where I rubbed people the wrong way, but I wouldn't take that back. In high school, I've learned how to not put myself in those situations. If we're in a social environment, if somebody's playing cards or cornhole, I try not to, because I get really competitive. So, but just when I got to college, I knew I wanted to be around athletics. I had a great coach in Keith LeClaire at East Carolina University, and the way he impacted not only my life, but all my teammates' lives. I was like, man, that'd be awesome if I could give back to young men like Coach LeClaire, and a lot of coaches did throughout my career. If I could do that, that would be really rewarding. So once I got done playing baseball at East Carolina, I knew I wanted to go into coaching, and I actually started at Kinston High School back in the spring of '03. So I really have, been at high school and also been at college, which is a little bit unique for most college coaches.
How was your time playing at East Carolina?
It was awesome. I can't say that when I came to East Carolina, I knew what I was getting into. In the spring of '96, I made the decision to attend East Carolina University when I had told my mom that I would never go to ECU because it was too close to home, since Snow Hill was 25 miles down the road, and I thought she would be in my dorm room every weekend. But the best decision of my life came in the spring of 1996 when I chose to come to ECU. And so thankful Coach Gary Overton recruited me. And then there was a coaching change. And when Keith LeClaire was hired, it was known from his first press conference that he was going to take East Carolina baseball, and they were going to play in the College World Series. So really the vision of where ECU could go changed when Coach LeClaire was hired. And obviously the teams I played on were really good. We were 3 number 1 seeds in a regional from '99 to 2001. In 2001, we were the only national seed in the history of ECU baseball. We were the 7th national seed and hosted the regional at Wilson at Fleming Stadium, won the regional, and then lost the super regional to Tennessee in Kinston, North Carolina. But that was when the money was raised. We played at Harrington Field, which is, much different than what Clark LeClaire Stadium is, but same spot, same location, just not as nice a facility. So that's why we couldn't host regionals. So the short of the story was I had an unbelievable experience at East Carolina. I have 2 degrees from East Carolina, my undergrad and my MBA, and the relationships that I was able to make at East Carolina University, I mean, those are my best friends in the entire world. So there's no amount of money that you could give me to take that experience away.
Can you talk about what you've achieved so far at ECU baseball in the program?
Well, I'll let you do your homework. I don't want to, sound like I'm talking about myself. The team accomplishments are, our first season as a coaching staff in 2015, we won 40 games. We won the AAC Conference Tournament Championship, went to a regional. had guys drafted off that team. In 2016, we won the Charlottesville Regional and won one game at Texas Tech in the Super Regional, and really we're inches away in Game 2 from taking ECU baseball to the College World Series, and unfortunately it didn't happen. And 18, we hosted a regional on campus, won the AAC Conference Tournament Championship, and then in 2019 we won the most games in the AAC, 20 games, never been done in the history of the conference. So broke that record, and then hosted the 2019 Greenville Regional, won the regional, and then lost in the Super Regional. One of our coaching staff's proudest things is we've had a 3.41 team GPA for 3 straight years, and this past spring semester we had a 3.61 team GPA. So we want our guys to strive to be excellent on and off the field. We've had, I think, 4 academic All-Americans since we've been coaches here, dating back to Charlie Yorgan, Travis Watkins, Jake Agnos. Alec Burleson was just named academic All-American, which was his second time. So he's one of 3 guys that have been a 2-time academic All-American, and we've had several All-Americans as well. So we're super proud that we're just providing East Carolina University with ambassadors for our university, for our baseball program that can go out and be successful, not just professional baseball, but life as well.
How did it feel going to the World Series 2 times in a row?
Well, it wasn't 2 times in a row. So I went in at LSU as an assistant coach in 2008. Pretty cool. We won 23 games in a row in the SEC, which is still the longest winning streak in the SEC history. We played the last games at the old Alex Box Stadium, so we sent that place out in style and went to the World Series. That was in, like I said, 2008, so that was in Rosenblatt Stadium. And then in 14 with Ole Miss, we went to Omaha, which was the first time, I think, in 42 or 47 years, which was really awesome. And it was Coach Bianco's first trip to Omaha and as a head coach at Ole Miss, so was super proud, and just for him to be able to be a part of that. And that was in Ameritrade, the new, place where the World Series is held. So, bucket list moments for your friends and family to be able to really go out to the Mecca of college baseball and just the World Series. So it was really awesome.
Can you talk about the amazing 2015 season?
2015 will always go down as one of our favorite teams, just because there was nothing expected of us. We had 26, 27 players on our team when you could have 35. We really pushed those guys to get more out of them than what their talent level was. We talk about it as coaches that'll be our best coaching job, even when we get to Omaha and play in the College World Series, just because those kids were so tough and we pushed them and worked them so hard, and what they were able to accomplish with not necessarily the most talent. And so really rewarding for us to be a part of that and really kind of get East Carolina baseball back in the winning ways.
How was your experience as being an assistant coach for the USA baseball team?
Just one of those kind of all moments, when Coach Maneri called me, who's the head coach at LSU and I worked for 3 years, 1 at Notre Dame and 2 at LSU. An honor. Anytime you get to wear the red, white, and blue and represent your country, it's unbelievable. And to cap it off, we had 2 players from East Carolina to be on that team. So you had Bryant Packard and Jake Agnos. And up until that point, no player from East Carolina had ever played with the collegiate national team. So we had 2 players. And then in 2019, Alec Burleson was actually the 3rd player to play on the collegiate national team. So really cool to just be a part of that group. And now you look back and all those guys were drafted really high. So you're around some of the best players in the entire country. I think the average signing bonus for the collegiate national team is over $2 million. So that's, you're around guys that are future big leaguers, which is really cool.
Can you talk about how you got started with the show Clif Godwin's Cab?
Cliff's Cab. Whitney Mark, who used to be the marketing person for baseball, just came up with this idea and said, hey, would you be interested in doing something? And I think it's called Cash Cab, and I had never seen it, but the idea was to drive around campus, pick students up, get them to, out to more games and take them to class, and then give them prizes when they answered questions. So it's been an awesome experience for me just to interact with the students, and a lot of them don't even know who I am, which is really cool, because that's just the way life is. Kids are so have their hands in so many different things, but to get some people maybe that would never come watch an ECU baseball game to come support our guys, and then the fact that it's reality TV has been awesome, and the amount of recruits, parents, and my mom loves it. I mean, there's a lot of people that really think it's hilarious, so it's been cool to watch.
How many players do you have that have been drafted in the MLB?
I don't know the number off the top of my head. I mean, look, I've been fortunate to be able to coach a ton of talented players and just try to get them to work hard and develop their skill, dating back from UNC Wilmington, Vanderbilt, Notre Dame, LSU, UCF, Ole Miss, and then now here at East Carolina, been here for 6 years. So I don't know the number. You have to check with Malcolm on that, but just been fortunate that we have been able to coach a lot of talented players.
How was the experience this year in the MLB draft?
Alec Burleson, he was drafted 70th overall, which was the fourth highest player ever to be drafted out of East Carolina. Gavin Williams actually could have been drafted, but he, had a pretty high price tag, so he wanted to come back to school for his second junior season with the COVID-19 stuff. We could have definitely had two guys, but Burley was drafted, and it was just a unique draft where it was shortened. A lot of teams did some different kind of things to make their money go as far as possible. So, but we're really excited for Alec Burleson and his future with the St. Louis Cardinals.
What is the draft like when it's not due to the coronavirus?
Well, it's bigger. Normally, up until this point, it's been 40 rounds. I think next year it'll definitely be shorter, so it'll probably be 20 rounds next year or less. So it just was different. I think college baseball, not just Division I, but all levels will be better because there'll be more talented players that normally would have been drafted and maybe signed that'll be at the college level.
How has the coronavirus impacted your season?
Well, it was canceled first off, so we just had to maneuver through that, and the emotions were very high from our players. Anytime you work all year, you've worked your entire life, especially the seniors, and immediately not knowing if they were going to get their senior year back. So you had the emotions, and then really to navigate through the new normal. So a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of FaceTimes to get our guys, doing what they need to do. But what we're really excited about is getting back on campus for the fall semester so we can practice and get ready for next year.
Can you talk about the recruitment process and what you are looking at for an ECU future Pirate?
Of course. So, look, you have to have the talent that we feel like can be developed to help us win a national championship. You have to be serious about your academics, and you need to be a hard worker and a great teammate. And if any of those three things don't match up, then it's not going to be a great fit here at East Carolina. A lot of coaches will say that, and then they'll just go sign the best players. So we want great players, but we want great people too. And our culture, which that term's thrown out a lot by coaches as well, but that is our number one priority at East Carolina is our culture. And you can be as talented as you want to be, but if you're not a person that can fit into our culture, then it's not going to work at East Carolina.
Have you done more Zoom calls with recruits and do virtual visits with them?
We actually have partnered with 5-Star Virtual back in December. So we have a virtual tour of our facility, which it actually worked out perfectly because we didn't know COVID was coming, but we did it back in December and kind of got it live in January. And then once, COVID hit, it was just perfect timing that we can send this to recruits or send it to their coaches. But it's out on our website as well, so people can, but it's really, you're walking through our facility as you would do in person. Definitely more FaceTime calls. with recruits. And most of the time, the kids that we're recruiting are younger, so they have to call us and we have to answer the call.
Do you see when we come back from this coronavirus, some of the methods that we've used add on to next season?
I hope we start inching towards back to what was normal. I know that there will be some safety measures with social distancing, but I would rather talk to people in person than talk to them on a Zoom call if possible. So definitely has, it's the new normal. What we're doing right now, this is the new normal. So I'm sure some of this stuff will stick, but hopefully when it comes to coaching our players, I can get in front of them and face-to-face and coach them.
Do you see you going on official visits and doing Zoom calls to just get that interaction with the players and the coach?
I hope the official visits still stay intact. It'll be interesting to see what the NCAA does with official visits since, from recruiting, the NCAA has a dead period through July 31st. So no coaches can go on the road and even watch baseball games, even if they're played through the end of July. So I'm not sure how they'll handle kids coming on campus once the fall semester starts.
Can you talk about what the experience is like on the official visit at ECU?
Yes, it's changed over time just because now you can have juniors come in on official visits. So we'll have a select few of juniors come in on official visits, but normally we use our official visits for the guys in their senior year that have already committed to us. So you can verbally commit at any time, and you can have kids in on unofficial visits as early as their junior year. So the official visit, when we can actually pay for everything, we hold that off to their senior year so we can bring everybody in together. They can meet all the guys that will be freshmen with them, and their families get to meet each other. So, and we do it on a football weekend and a weekend that we're actually playing baseball in the fall. So that's a really unique experience for them to get to see a lot of different things in one weekend.
How do these young players feel when they put on that jersey for the first time and feel the Pirate Nation?
It's an awesome experience, especially when you're running on the field in front of Pirate Nation, the biggest crowds in the state of North Carolina for 20 straight years. So it's an awesome feeling. And then an even better feeling when you're hosting a regional and there's about 6,000 people cheering you on. So I get chill bumps talking about it. It's a very passionate fan base, very proud fan base. It's a college town. Clark LeClaire Stadium in the Jungle is one of the best baseball facilities and baseball environments, in my opinion. I know I played here, so I'm probably a little bit biased, but it's pretty awesome. If you go back and watch videos of the regional from last year and just see the fans and how loud they are, there's places that hold more. I don't know if it could be any louder than it was at Clark LeClaire last year during the regional.
What advice would you give upcoming recruits looking to get recruited to college?
I think you have to lean on your coaches, whether it be your high school coach or travel coach, and just get them to be honest with you where they see the level that you could play. Because everybody, if you're dedicated to the sport, I feel like can play at some level. But everybody can't play at the highest level of Division I. Everybody can't play at a lower level of Division I, but some can play, junior college baseball, Division II, Division III. So really to have those coaches kind of hone them in and what they think their capabilities are, their talent levels are. But what I can tell you is ask your coach what you need to work on and continuously pick his brain to say, hey, what can I get better? Because a lot of guys go into the cages and just hit, but then they don't work on their defense. So they don't work on their base running. And there's only one DH in college. So if you're just a great hitter, you're competing against a lot of guys on the team just to be in that DH role.
What advice would you give upcoming college coaches looking to get into college coaching?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Number one, be the best wherever you are. So no matter what the circumstance is, be the best coach for that organization that you're with. And what I tell people is when I was a volunteer assistant at UNCW, I made $8,000 for the entire year. And I never once was looking, hey, where can I go next? Where can I go next? And I don't know. It was almost like I had blinders on, and I was blessed to be working with a group of great coaches, great people with Coach Scaff, Randy Hood, and Scott Jackson, three of the best in the business. So maybe I was just lucky. I don't know, to be with that organization, but I wasn't making a lot of money. I didn't care. I was being able to work on the field, coach great players, and was around great people. So I didn't worry about my next job. I think a lot of people, as society does, is the grass is always greener on the other side. And I never looked at it like that, and just wanted to be the best I could be where I was. So really be in the present moment, work as hard as you can, be consistent with it, and somebody will notice. I was lucky where somebody noticed after 1 year, where it might take years of time, because the great successful people in our country, they didn't wake up and all of a sudden become successful. It took years. It took years of hard work behind the scenes when nobody was talking about them for them to be where they are today.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Well, you have Twitter, C Godwin 23. I'm pretty sure. I'm on Instagram. I think it's Clif Godwin 23. I'm not 100% sure on that. Also have Coach Godwin on Instagram and Coach Godwin on Facebook. So a lot of different platforms you can get on and see stuff about the Pirates, and put out some motivational stuff, especially at a time when a lot of people are reading negative stuff. Try to be positive. And it's not fake positive. It's just looking at the best of each situation and trying to build off that so we can get our country back to where it needs to be.
What are the ECU Baseball social media?
Yeah, ECU Baseball is Twitter, Instagram, and I don't think we have a Facebook, but ECU Athletics has a Facebook page.
Thank you again, Clif Godwin, for your interview. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Clif Godwin, for your interview.
Brandon, thanks for your time, buddy. I appreciate it.